Mindset. It's a term you hear a lot these days in business coaching, in self-help information, pop psychology. They say it's your mindset. You need to fix your mindset. It's a mindset problem, not a skill, business, knowledge, whatever problem. Your mindset is why you're not succeeding. What do you even do with that? What is a mindset? I've studied psychology, sociology, and occupational therapy for 9 years in university, and I've worked in mental health for 18. And people keep asking me to speak at different things online about mindset, and I can't even tell you exactly what it is. But stick around. We're going to dig into it, pull it apart a little bit, pull apart as well my resistance to the trend, and I'll share how I've come around to embracing the demand with my own spin. MindFlex. If you're interested in continuing to learn about how to get internal obstacles like difficult thoughts and feelings out of your way so that you can get on with living a fulfilling and vital life, I invite you to subscribe and click on the notification bell. I put out new videos each week to help other OTs get out of their heads and into living and working with more fulfillment and vitality. So I'd love to keep you up to date with these videos. I'm Carlin, a mental health occupational therapist and personal development coach for other OTs. I'd love to know if this content is useful to you, so please leave a note or a question in the comments. So when you Google mindset, it becomes clear that there are many takes on the concept. Oxford defines it as the established set of attitudes held by someone. Merriam-Webster says a mental attitude or inclination, a fixed state of mind. Fixed, hey? I'm not so fond of fixed. So far what we know about mindset is that it's pretty broad. Maybe we need to look at different types of mindset to get a little bit clearer. One approach to mindset that I quite like is Carol Dweck's work on growth mindset. As opposed to fixed mindset, growth mindset is the understanding that abilities and understanding can be developed. So if you put in the effort, you'll get improved results, and that leads to improved capacity or ability. So the work is important here. You need to see that you can work at it, do the work, and get better results. I also kind of like the idea of scarcity versus abundance mindset. I've heard this a lot in business, and it's been actually really helpful to me. So the idea is that rather than thinking the world is finite and we must compete for resources, we try to see that there's enough out there for everybody. And this tends to lead to fewer fear-based decisions, fear-based poor decisions, and more success. Are these mindset concepts familiar to you? If you have a favorite mindset idea or quote to share, I'd love it if you'd put it in the comments. I love learning more about how people relate to these types of things. I think next time I'm asked to speak about mindset, I'm going to introduce 2 ways I see mindset. I'll tell you about the first one here today, and then the other one's going to come in another video. How about we talk about MindFlex instead of mindset? In my work with motivated but stuck OTs, as well as in my mental health work, I teach clients how to build psychological flexibility using concepts from acceptance and commitment therapy, positive psychology, and mindfulness. Ultimately, it's the flexibility with which we see ourselves, the world, and our actions that helps us respond effectively to the inevitable challenges that arise and leads to more fulfilling and vital lives. We don't want to keep our mind set in any fixed capacity. We're most successful when we can adapt, when we can roll with what comes up and adjust our responses accordingly. So what does that look like in real life? I can think of a couple examples that come to mind. So one was last summer. I was set to ride a bike with some friends from Canmore to Banff, have lunch, and come back. It should have taken a few hours. It turned out to be an extremely hot day, and at that altitude with my fitness level, we had to pause a few times, drink a lot of water, and then when I started to get dizzy, we had to turn back. We didn't make it to Banff. We had lunch in Canmore instead. With a flexible way of responding to challenges, I considered the day a success. I got out. I challenged myself, I spent some time with friends, I enjoyed the mountains, and had a great lunch laughing with people I love. Someone with a more fixed mindset would think that the day was a failure, they weren't good at bike riding, and they shouldn't have even tried. Do you see the difference? MindFlex. Another example comes in business. People often come to me feeling really stuck and paralyzed in their business planning. They've been working at perfecting all the details of their business, their offer, their programs, their structure, before even telling anybody about their business, let alone launching. And I always say you can't really see what's around the corner from where you stand. So take action, take a few more steps. You can see a little further around the corner. Do some research, ask what people need, build relationships, build an audience, do a prototype, test it, get feedback, pivot, revise, and keep going. This is action. This is moving forward flexibly. And ultimately, that flexibility helps lead to a better outcome, a better product, a better offer, rather than planning it all out in great detail and thinking you've got it perfect without even testing the waters. We need to be flexible in business. A quote I often see in business is one from Reid Hoffman, and it's, "If you're not embarrassed by the first version of your product, you've launched too late." Now, I'm not saying like throw it all out to the wind and just do whatever willy-nilly, but approaching things flexibly really is beneficial in business and in life. So I think the next time I'm asked to speak to a group about mindset, I'm going to teach them about MindFlex, because at least in my mind, MindFlex is the new mindset. If you're an OT who has things you'd like to be doing in work and in life, but you're stuck with some of these things, fixed mindset, low confidence in your ability, fear of failure, perfectionism, etc., it would be an honor to help you. There's a link in the comments for more information about how to apply to work with me and the Activate Vitality community. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Here's a video on the downside of positive thinking if you're interested in more ways to challenge some of the current trends in pop psychology.